And we're back with another video to preview Week 2 with the Titans matchup against divisional rival, the Jacksonville Jaguars. What's up, dude? How you holding up after that loss last week? Hey, whoa, dude, are you kidding me? My goodness, you are mentally fragile. It's just one game, dude. This is what we do in the NFL. Win or lose, you got to move on to the next week. All right, let's continue on with this. I'm gonna put this over here because that's no. Listen. We got to focus on Jacksonville. Week 1 is behind us. We can't get it back.
Okay.
It's done. Best. What's done is done.
I will do my best. I will do my best. Well, okay. Anyways, so Jacksonville Mayor, Mr. Lenny Curry, says that the city will not be underwater, so that the game is still going to be held in Jacksonville. There was a second there we thought it may move up to Tennessee, but no, it'll still be in Jacksonville. So let's go ahead and get into the breakdown between these two teams. What say you?
All right, I say yay. Let's do it. Checking now, the Jacksonville Jaguars right now are at first in the AFC South.
What? That's actually right, Justin. After dismantling the Houston Texans last week, racking up 10 sacks, they're actually the only team in the AFC South to come out of Week 1 with a victory. They just made a huge statement against the Houston Texans and to the rest of the NFL and our division. And now with former Titans rival Tom Coughlin in control of things they're actually looking like a formidable team.
As much as I love seeing the Texans' brains being beaten in to a bloody pulp, this was a bit unsettling. Like you said, the big takeaway from that game was the Jacksonville Jaguars defense forcing 10 sacks and forcing 4 turnovers. They practically won the game all by themselves. And those 10 sacks were a franchise record for them.
You could say they displayed their own savagery on the Texans.
Yeah, and they displayed their own bit of Deshaun Watson-ery.
Oh, dude, stop.
It sounded better in my head.
Stick to the script.
Okay. So to complement their utterly dominant defense, the Jaguars' offense instilled a grounded-out style with rookie running back Leonard Fournette, which is the best offensive game plan they've had since they drafted Blake Bortles. Fournette carried the ball 26 times in his first game for 100 exact yardage and a touchdown, and Chris Ivory chipped in with 42 of his own yards. So what does that leave for Blake Bortles to do? Only throwing the ball 21 times, completing 11 of them, and they still won.
Yeah, I think the Jags have finally realized the obvious, that the less Blake Bortles handles the ball, the better that offense is going to be. I mean, they ran the ball 35 times, racking up 142 total yards, for those of you who are too lazy to do the math between Ivory and Fournette.
So break it down for me, Caleb. What do you see in this new look Jags team entirely, with the quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, and the defense?
Well, let's start with the quarterbacks because I think that's kind of the easy one, kind of like we just mentioned. This is really no contest. I think everyone watching this video knows the answer. Marcus Mariota is better than Blake Bortles. I know Blake Bortles had that one good year a few years ago, but since then he has been nothing but downhill to the fact he got benched in the preseason, but then somehow won his starting job back without even doing anything. This all relies on Marcus's fibula being okay, which it is. So yeah, Marcus gets the clear advantage. He's better in every single aspect of the game when you compare quarterback skill sets. And I think Marcus is out for revenge because the Jags are kind of the ones who broke that fibula last year. So defense better watch out. Marcus is going to be gunning for their fibulas. I am looking for Mariota to kind of have a bounce back game from Week 1. He wasn't bad by any means, but I definitely think that we've seen better Mariota, and I'm looking for him to turn it around. He's got a short memory. Put that game 1 behind us, and let's move on. I'm looking for him to have a big game 2. So Mariota, all the check marks over Bortles any day. And I swear to God, Jags, if you hurt him again, I will pull that gun back out and I will blow my brains out.
Moving on to running backs. As we know, the Jacksonville Jaguars have upgraded that position significantly by selecting Leonard Fournette out of LSU with their 4th overall pick. And so far, he's proven his worth at that position. He had a really good first game against one of the best front sevens in the NFL. And we know their backups, same as last year. They had these guys, Chris Ivory and TJ Yeldon.
You're absolutely right, Justin. Their run game is much improved. But despite how well they performed in week 1, even outperformed the Titans run game, I still think the edge gotta go to the Titans if you look at the whole body of work, especially with what our run game accomplished last year. I definitely think the gap is a lot closer this year than it was last year, but I still think you got to give the edge to DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. I'm expecting them to kind of turn it around from their Game 1 slump against the Raiders. And we know that Jacksonville's passing game is nowhere near the level that Oakland's was, so I'm expecting the Titans to stack the box like flapjacks at IHOP.
Ooh, sounds like a tasty defensive plan.
Advantage goes to Titans in this one. I still, once again, just like Mariota, we had a pretty down game in the run game. Game 1, I'm looking for them to get back on track here in week 2.
Yeah, we are going to probably game plan to stack the box against them because of their injuries that they've suffered at wide receiver. Which brings us to our next comparison, the wide receiver position. We'll start with Allen Robinson, their #1 receiver, who has given the Titans defense fits the past few years. But as we learned after the game last week, he is out for the season with an ACL injury. So we shouldn't celebrate the injuries, but it is good that we don't have to worry about him being on the field. So the foreseeable future, and in this game, they're going to be rolling with Allen Hurns, Marquise Lee, and Aurelius Ben as their top wideouts.
Don't forget, they also have the ageless wonder, Mr. Mercedes Lewis at tight end, who can also be a weapon for them in the passing game. But however, this Jags team does not want to be slinging the ball around like they did in the past. Right. Now, looking at us, I think we all got a glimpse of what Corey Davis, our 5th overall draft pick out of Western Michigan, brings to the table. In week 1, we saw him do stuff that we haven't seen a Titans wide receiver do possibly ever. He brings a skill set that we've never had before. Pair him with our solid guys like Rashard Matthews and Delaney Walker at tight ends, and we're looking at a pretty good group of receivers and tight ends. Throw in Eric Decker, who I'm looking to have a turnaround game from week 1, and I think the Titans just have more dynamic receivers and weapons all across the board.
But guys, now we get to the big one. Now we get to the category that could make all of this a wash. I know you're saying you're expecting a lot of bounce back performances from our offensive players, but we saw how dominant this Jacksonville Jaguars defense could be on Christmas Eve last year in the game that we would all like to forget, but we can't get it out of our brains. And don't bring up that Thursday night game before that Christmas Eve game where we put on an onslaught, because they seem to have put it together since then. Their free agent acquisitions that they spend big money on are finally looking like they're starting to pay off, and they're starting to click at all levels on the defensive side.
They are starting to pay off. They now boast one of the best cornerback tandems in the whole NFL with their first-round draft pick from last year, Jalen Ramsey out of Florida State, and then they signed A.J. Bouye from the Houston Texans this past year. Pair him with Gibson and a newly acquired Barry Church as in the safety spots, and yeah, you're looking at a pretty stacked secondary. I know Jalen Ramsey has missed some time this week with an injury, and I think AJ Bouye had a little illness on the injury report, but I think they're both expected to play and be fully healthy when this Sunday rolls around.
Yeah, it could be some really tough sledding for our offense in the passing game. And when you look at the linebackers, they have really good players there as well, with long mainstay linebacker Paul, tackling machine Puslesny, with Telvin Smith, who's another great linebacker, and then second-year man Miles Jack, who's starting to come into his own. They have some good pieces right there. And then move up another step forward, and you get to that defensive front. We got to start off with their free agent acquisition, Calais Campbell, who just broke the Jacksonville Jaguars' single-game sack record in his first game. Thanks Cardinals for giving him to Jacksonville, along with Yannick. I'm just going to call him Yannick, who is another great player on that line. They have Dante Fowler Jr., who has a lot of potential, a former first-round pick for them a few years ago. And also Malik Jackson, another big free agent signing for them last year. They have a very stout defensive line.
Yeah, they're pretty set all across the board on defense. They basically won the game for them single-handedly last week against the Texans. And I know, looking at this matchup coming up, I know their offense isn't near what the Raiders' offense was, but looking at the defense, 10 sacks is 10 sacks. I mean, that's just crazy. And I mean, even the Jacksonville Twitter handle, knows what's up with that. All right, so gonna have to give the check mark to the Jaguars defense on this one, especially not just in personnel, but especially with how they performed in week 1. If this was blitz, they would be on fire. Okay, moving on to our final conclusions. Justin, what do you think is going to be the key to this game, in your opinion?
I think we saw the clear identity of this Jacksonville team this year and how they want to play the game with strong defense and a ground and pound running game. I think we've got to be able to shut down Leonard Fournette. You said we're probably going to be stacking the box against him. If we can slow him down, as bad as our secondary is prone to play, I really don't think Blake Bortles can beat us again like he did last year on Christmas Eve. Can he? I don't think so. I think we have to slow down Fournette. If we can do that, then I think our offense can manage enough points to pull out the win. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans winning this one 19-16.
Ooh, close one. It comes down to the final field goal.
All right, what about you? What is your key to the game? And I want a score prediction as well.
I think both teams' defensive game plans are going to be really similar. We want to stack the box on them. I think they want to stack the box on us. And so that's where I think the game is going to be won for us. We have to control the line of scrimmage and get push in the run game and establish that. Last week, Murray and Henry combined only had 18 carries, and we had to rely on Mariota throwing it over 40 times. That's not going to get the job done. We have to establish the run game early and often and stick with it. I mean, if we're preaching smash mouth football, let's follow through. I want to see Murray and Henry with at least 25 carries combined in this game.
So you're saying whoever establishes the run better in this game, whoever is more successful at running the football will probably come out victorious?
Yes.
I can buy that. I can buy that sell.
But say both teams end up shutting down the other team's run game, then I think the advantage clearly lies in our weapons. So that's why I'm going to give us the win here, 21-13 Titans.
I'll take it. That's a W. Are you losing faith in the gods of Madden?
I'm not.
Because last week they led us astray. They led us down the wrong path of what was going to happen.
They did, but watching the NFL for pretty much my whole life, I know that week 1 is not indicative of how teams play in the rest of the year. So maybe the Madden gods are still kind of recovering from that preseason hangover. So I'm going to give them a hard pass on this one.
Okay, that's very forgiving of you.
So that being said, I think we should go ahead and figure out who's going to win this game. Don't you think so?
I think so. Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's get to it. I think we're just improving a lot at Madden. So yeah, let's get right into the game. See who wins the real game. Bro, bro. Sir, I mean, yeah, okay. Can I just start from there?
Sure.
Okay. That was a lot of ad-lib. Hold on, let me. Okay. Can't tell if we're getting too loud or just what have you.
I mean, it can't be as loud as Jonathan Hutton. I was like,
"Hey guys, what's up?"
The Jacksonville Jaguars offense, to complement that, did I repeat myself?
You did say the compliment twice, but I like compliments.
Man, this is going to take forever. None of my words make sense.
Okay, well, so, okay, put me on the spot here. Man, I'm done.